Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this loud and clear. A woman who forgets her worth, who silences her voice just to be accepted, who hides her brilliance to make others comfortable, is not being kind. She's being caged. And the worst prison is the one you build around yourself with fear, doubt, and fake smiles. This is not the era of playing small. This is the time to rise, to speak, to own who you are, fully and unapologetically. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you will never dim your light again. A woman's strength is not measured by how much she can endure in silence, but by how firmly she stands in her truth. Far too often, women are taught that dependence is a form of love, that relying entirely on someone else is somehow noble or romantic. This belief does nothing but slowly chip away at her independence, her voice, and her potential. When a woman abandons her own judgment just to follow someone blindly, she isn't being loyal. She is silencing her own power. True love does not require you to shrink or become someone else. It thrives on equality, respect, and mutual growth. You were not born to be a shadow in someone else's story. Blind dependence isn't partnership, it's a cage with invisible bars. And no matter how pretty the cage looks, it is still a prison. Freedom begins when a woman chooses herself. Her mind, her heart, her path. There's a dangerous illusion that dependence equals safety. That if you hand over the reins of your life to someone else, you'll be taken care of. But what happens when that person changes, leaves, or simply stops caring? You're left with no map, no compass, and no voice. This isn't love. This is a gamble with your soul. A woman must never forget that emotional or financial dependence isn't a love story. It's a ticking time bomb. It may look easy in the beginning, but the price is your self-worth. Every time you say, he'll decide, he'll handle it, I don't know, ask him, you're surrendering pieces of yourself. You deserve to be the author of your own life, not just a character who waits for direction. Take back your pen. Take back your role. You were born to lead your life, not lease it. Being cared for and being controlled are two entirely different things. One empowers you, the other erases you. If you don't know how to stand on your own, you will always be afraid of falling. Real confidence comes from knowing that even if everyone walks away, you can still move forward. That's the kind of power no one can take from you. And yes, building that kind of inner strength isn't easy. It takes time, discomfort, and growth, but it's worth it. The truth is, dependency is a silent addiction. It feels safe, even comforting, but in the long run it robs you of your voice, your choices, and your joy. Break the habit. Speak up, show up, and take responsibility for your own happiness. That's not selfish. That's survival. Many women confuse sacrifice with value, thinking the more they give up, the more valuable they become. But constantly giving at the expense of your own needs doesn't make you noble. It makes you invisible. You can't keep pouring from an empty cup and expect to feel full. A smart woman knows how to love deeply without losing herself in the process. She understands that boundaries are not walls. They are the bridges to healthy relationships. If you give someone everything and they give you nothing back, you're not in love. You're being used. And being used is not flattering. Wake up to the difference between love and exploitation. One uplifts you, the other drains you. Stop romanticizing your own erasure. Dependency often starts with little things. Asking for help with decisions. Letting someone else speak for you. Avoiding responsibility. But over time, these small choices pile up into a life that no longer feels like your own. You wake up one day and realize you don't know what you believe in, what you like, or who you are outside of that relationship. That's a tragic loss, not just of independence, but of identity. The most dangerous thing a woman can do is forget her own voice. Your opinions, your intuition, your ideas, they are valid and necessary. Stop waiting for permission to think, to speak, to lead. No one else can do that for you. You are not half of a person waiting to be completed. You are already whole. The world doesn't need more women who depend on others to feel worthy. It needs women who know their value without needing validation. Confidence is not loud or aggressive, it's quiet certainty. It's the peace that comes from knowing you are enough, with or without applause. When you rely too heavily on someone else for your self-esteem, you become fragile, reactive, and easily broken. But when you cultivate worth from within, no external force can shake you. Be the kind of woman who builds herself, emotionally, mentally, and financially. Your freedom depends on it. The ability to stand alone is not a punishment, it's a privilege. A woman who owns her life is unstoppable. Dependency also limits your dreams. When your choices depend on someone else's approval, your goals become filtered, diluted, or completely abandoned. Dreams require courage, and courage requires autonomy. You can't chase your passions while asking for permission to be yourself. Every time you hold back because he might not like it or they won't support it, you delay your destiny. Stop outsourcing your life. Take ownership of your journey. It doesn't mean you have to walk alone, but it means you can. Your dreams deserve more than fear. They deserve your full commitment. And that starts when you stop waiting for someone to rescue you. Love should never feel like a contract where you give up your freedom in exchange for care. Real love supports your independence, it doesn't replace it. A partner should be a cheerleader, not a warden. If you constantly feel guilty for being yourself, that's not a healthy bond. It's emotional control. You don't have to choose between love and self-respect. You can have both. And if you can't, it's not love. Know this, it's better to be alone and growing than surrounded and shrinking. The world will try to convince you otherwise, but the world is often wrong. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't ignore the signs. Listen. Act. Rise. Strength isn't about never needing anyone. It's about not being afraid to stand alone when you have to. There's nothing wrong with needing support. We all do. But support should uplift you, not cage you. If your entire sense of direction, purpose, or peace depends on one person, you're not in love. You're in dependency. And that's dangerous. Learn how to be your own home. Build your own foundation. Then, let love be the bonus, not the base. A woman grounded in herself is not afraid of solitude. She welcomes it when needed. She doesn't chase, she chooses. And every choice is rooted in her worth, not her fear. You were not put on this earth to merely survive through someone else's decisions. You are meant to thrive through your own. The world is full of noise, telling you to settle, to stay small, to be grateful for crumbs. But you deserve the full feast, and that begins the moment you stop waiting to be saved. No one is coming to rescue you, and that's the good news, because it means you get to rescue yourself. You get to be the hero of your story. Stand tall, speak clearly, walk boldly. Your life is yours. Claim it fully, fearlessly, and unapologetically. There's a quiet pain that comes from enduring disrespect and calling it patience. Many women confuse tolerance with strength, believing that staying silent makes them virtuous or mature. But every time you let someone belittle you, ignore your worth, or cross your boundaries, you are telling the world how to treat you. Disrespect doesn't always come in shouts or insults. Sometimes it's in the way your voice is dismissed, and your needs are minimized, or your dreams are mocked. You feel it in the pit of your stomach, that uneasy silence that lingers after being put down. You tell yourself, it's not that bad, or he didn't mean it. while slowly losing pieces of yourself. Patience is a virtue, yes, but not when it becomes a weapon used against your dignity. You don't have to raise your voice to be strong, but you must raise your standards. Never confuse peace with submission. Respect is not earned through silence. It's commanded through self-respect. The more you accept bad behavior, the more permission you give others to treat you poorly. You are not a punching bag for someone else's insecurities, moods, or immaturity. If you're constantly being made to feel small in order to keep a relationship or a job, ask yourself, is it really worth it? The answer is almost always no. Disrespect is a slippery slope. It starts subtly, then becomes normal. One sarcastic joke at your expense, one lie, one broken promise, and soon you're in a pattern of enduring, explaining, and forgiving what should never be allowed. No one is perfect, but repeated disrespect is not a flaw. It's a choice, and tolerating it isn't love or loyalty. It's fear in disguise, fear of being alone, unloved, or judged. You are not difficult for demanding respect. You are clear. You are not rude for setting boundaries. You are wise. Somewhere along the way, many women were taught that their role is to fix, to heal, to wait. But the truth is, your role is to rise. And rising means walking away from anything that dims your light, especially relationships that run on manipulation or emotional abuse. Disrespect often wears the mask of love, disguised in control, jealousy, or possessiveness. Don't fall for it. Love that doesn't respect you is not love. It's power disguised as passion. And power without kindness becomes poison. A woman who knows her worth doesn't entertain disrespect, no matter how charming the apology or how long the history. She doesn't settle for at least he's here. She demands at least he respects me. Being silent about mistreatment doesn't protect your relationship, it protects dysfunction. You may think that keeping quiet is keeping the peace, but peace built on suppression isn't real peace. It's fear dressed as harmony. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow, and silence is the loudest yes to poor behavior. Speaking up doesn't make you dramatic, emotional, or unstable. It makes you aware, honest, and powerful. The moment you stop accepting less, the moment you choose yourself, that's when your life begins to change. But as long as you remain afraid to speak your truth, you'll stay trapped in cycles that don't serve you. Silence may be easier in the short term, but it costs you everything in the long run. Your voice, your peace, and your sense of self. You are not born to be invisible. You were not created to be someone's emotional punching bag or a placeholder for their convenience. If someone constantly criticizes, gaslights, or controls you, that's not a relationship, that's a prison. The more you excuse bad behavior, the more you abandon yourself. Love should feel safe, not like a battlefield. It should inspire you to grow, not shrink. If you constantly walk on eggshells, afraid of upsetting someone, ask yourself why you feel more fear than love. Respect is not optional, it's foundational. Without it, there is no real connection, just power games and emotional debt. Don't stay where you have to beg for the bare minimum. Don't settle for the apology that never leads to change. There is power in walking away, not because you're giving up, but because you're choosing yourself. Every time you tolerate disrespect, you teach your heart to accept pain as normal. But pain is not normal, it's a signal that something needs to change. Your peace is not too much to ask for. Your standards are not too high. Stop adjusting your value to match someone's inability to see it. People often test your boundaries to see what they can get away with. And the longer you let it happen, the more they push. But you don't have to play along. You don't have to explain your worth to anyone. Let your actions speak. When you walk away from disrespect, you show the world how deeply you love yourself. Some people will only treat you right when they fear losing you. Others will never treat you right no matter what you do. Learn the difference. It's not your job to convince someone to treat you well. It's your job to treat yourself well enough to never tolerate less. Your silence won't change them. Your patience won't fix them. Your love won't teach them respect. Only their own desire to grow can do that. And if they don't want to change, you can't stay hoping someday they will. You owe yourself more than waiting around for someone to become who you deserve. Walk away not because you hate them, but because you love yourself more. That is not weakness, that is wisdom. Disrespect doesn't always look like shouting or insults. Sometimes it's constant interruptions, rolling eyes, sarcastic jabs, or being left out of decisions that affect you. Sometimes it's being told you're overreacting when you express pain, or being made to feel crazy for noticing patterns. These microaggressions build up and soon you're doubting your own reality. That's how control begins. Not in violence, but in the erasure of your voice. Do not tolerate it. Speak even when your voice shakes. Demand clarity. Demand honesty. Demand respect. And if they mock you for it, let that be your answer. Let that be the moment you decide to stop playing small. It takes courage to stand up for yourself, especially when you're afraid of losing someone. But the truth is, if speaking your truth drives someone away, they were never yours to begin with. You cannot keep someone who needs your silence to stay comfortable. And you should never have to. The fear of being alone keeps many women trapped in toxic relationships, and you are allowed to walk away from anything that doesn't see the power in your presence. From the moment we're young, many women are taught to be agreeable, polite, and pleasing, as if our entire worth is measured by how well we make others comfortable. But living to please everyone is a trap. It slowly erodes your identity and replaces it with versions of yourself that exist only to meet other people's expectations. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you betray your truth for the comfort of someone else. And that's not kindness, that's self-abandonment. You cannot grow while constantly shrinking yourself. You weren't put on this earth to be liked by everyone. You were meant to live fully, speak boldly, and be unapologetically you. People-pleasing may bring temporary approval, but it always costs long-term peace. You don't need permission to be real. When your sense of self is tied to others' opinions, you become a prisoner to their moods, their judgments, and their validation. And that kind of life will always feel unstable because people are inconsistent. One day they love you, the next they doubt you. And if your worth is based on their praise, you'll be chasing acceptance forever. Living to please everyone is exhausting because it's never enough. The more you give, the more they expect. The more you bend, the more they push. Until one day you look in the mirror and barely recognize the person staring back. That's the cost of being liked by everyone. Losing yourself. And no relationship, job, or social approval is worth that. Authenticity takes courage. It means standing in your truth, even if it's uncomfortable. It means setting boundaries that may disappoint people but protect your peace. When you stop performing for approval, you start living in freedom. And not everyone will like that version of you, the real you. But the ones who matter will. People-pleasing might feel like connection, but it's actually disconnection in disguise. You're giving people a version of you that's edited, filtered, and safe, not whole, honest, and real. And when you do that, even their love feels hollow because you know deep down they're loving the mask, not the person. You deserve to be loved for who you truly are, not who you pretend to be. Saying no is a full sentence. It doesn't require explanation, justification, or apology. Every time you say yes to things you don't want, you're saying no to yourself. Your time, energy, and emotional bandwidth are not infinite. If you spend them all on pleasing others, You'll have nothing left for your own growth, joy, and rest. Boundaries are not selfish, they're necessary. They teach the world how to treat you. Without them, people will take and take. Not always out of malice, but because you've never said stop. Learn to disappoint people gracefully. It's not your job to protect everyone's feelings at the expense of your own well-being. The world will adjust. People often confuse kindness with weakness. But real kindness includes honesty. You can be kind and say no. You can be compassionate and still choose yourself. Pleasing everyone creates a false sense of harmony. Because it's not peace, it's suppression. Real peace only exists where truth lives. When you're constantly filtering your words to avoid conflict or rejection, you're not being peaceful. You're being invisible. That kind of life will suffocate you over time. You were not made to be everyone's solution, therapist, or emotional crutch. You were made to be whole, free, and fulfilled. Prioritize that. Because no one else will do it for you. There will always be people who try to make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. They'll call you selfish, cold, or arrogant when you stop serving their needs above your own. Let them. That guilt you feel, it's not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's a sign you're breaking free from a pattern of overgiving. Sit with the discomfort. It will pass, and in its place will come clarity, strength, and peace. You don't owe anyone endless access to your time or energy. Your worth is not measured by how much you sacrifice. Start protecting your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Not everyone is entitled to your yes. Trying to please everyone guarantees one thing. You will never fully please yourself. So you'll always feel stretched too thin, emotionally burned out, and spiritually disconnected. You can't be everything to everyone, but you can be everything to yourself. And when you start showing up for yourself first, you begin to glow from within. That inner glow doesn't need applause. It's powered by truth. The people who truly love you will honor your boundaries. The ones who get offended were only comfortable with your silence and submission. Let them go. You're not here to carry the emotional weight of others at the expense of your sanity. Let go to grow. You don't have to be the nice girl. You don't have to say yes to every invitation, smile through every insult, or pretend you're okay when you're not. You are allowed to be bold, honest, and direct. That doesn't make you rude. It makes you real. People-pleasing is often rooted in fear of rejection, abandonment, or being misunderstood. But no amount of pleasing can protect you from those things. At some point, you have to choose. Be liked by everyone or be loved for who you are. Choose yourself. Because the ones who matter won't ask you to shrink. They'll celebrate your truth, not punish it. Your voice matters, your needs matter, your truth matters. Stop minimizing yourself just to make others comfortable. You are not too much, you are not too loud, you are not too intense, you are just enough for the life that's meant for you. People-pleasing teaches you to ignore your own needs until they turn into resentment. And resentment is poison to the soul. Free yourself from the burden of being agreeable all the time. Sometimes growth sounds like, no, I don't want to. Sometimes healing begins with, that doesn't work for me anymore. You are allowed to outgrow roles, relationships, and routines that were built on your silence. One day you will look back and realize that the people you were so afraid to disappoint weren't thinking about you as much as you feared. Most people are focused on themselves. The anxiety, the guilt, the stress you carried to keep them happy, it was never yours to bear. Start reclaiming your life, one decision at a time. Say what you mean. Do what feels right. Honor your heart. And remember, the goal isn't to be liked, it's to be free. Because when you are free, truly free, the right people will find you, the right doors will open, and your life will finally feel like your own. There is a dangerous comfort in playing small. It feels safe, familiar, and unthreatening. Many women hide their brilliance behind humility, fearing that being confident will make them seem arrogant or too much. So they shrink their dreams, silence their ideas, and downplay their achievements. Not because they lack ability, but because they fear standing out. But playing small serves no one. The world doesn't need more silent talent. It needs women who are bold enough to be seen, strong enough to be heard, and confident enough to own their greatness. You are not born to be invisible. Hiding your light doesn't make you humble. It makes you forgettable. Step into your space. Fear of judgment is one of the main reasons women hold back. They worry about what others will say. She thinks she's better than everyone. She's too loud. She's full of herself. But confidence is not a crime. You're allowed to own your strength without apology. Let them talk. You will be judged whether you rise or stay small, so you might as well rise. Playing small won't protect you from criticism. It just guarantees you'll never feel fulfilled. No one wins when you suppress your potential. Stop editing your truth to fit into spaces that were never designed for your full power. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be brave. Many women wait for permission to go after what they want. They wait until they feel ready, qualified, or validated. But no one is coming to hand you confidence. You have to choose it, create it, and practice it. Confidence is built in the doing, in showing up scared, trying anyway, and learning as you go. The more you act like the woman you want to become, the more you believe you are her. Stop waiting for a sign. Stop waiting for someone to say you're enough. You already are. Every time you take action despite the fear, you prove your power to yourself. And that self-belief will take you further than any approval ever could. There is nothing noble about shrinking yourself so others can feel comfortable. Your success, your ambition, your confidence. They don't diminish anyone else. If your light makes someone uncomfortable, that's their shadow to deal with, not your problem to fix. Don't apologize for being driven. Don't dim your glow to blend in. You were not made to fit into molds. You were made to break them. Be proud of your fire. Let it shine. The right people won't be threatened by your confidence. They'll be inspired by it. And the wrong ones, let them leave. They were never meant to walk with you into the next level of your life. Stop calling insecurity humility. Real humility is knowing your power and choosing to use it wisely, not hiding it out of fear. You can be humble and still say, I deserve more. You can be grounded and still say, I'm proud of what I've built. There's a huge difference between confidence and arrogance. Confidence uplifts, arrogance competes. A confident woman doesn't need to prove herself. She just is. And in a world that constantly tells women to stay in their place, choosing confidence is a quiet form of rebellion. Own your wins. Speak your truth. Take up space without shame. That's not pride. That's power reclaimed. Imposter syndrome is loud, but it's also a liar. It will tell you you're not ready, not smart enough, not qualified, but feelings are not facts. The truth is, most people are figuring it out as they go. Confidence isn't the absence of doubt. It's the decision to move forward anyway. Stop doubting what's already yours. If you've been given the vision, you're capable of the mission. Don't let fear of not being good enough keep you stuck in a version of life that doesn't challenge you. You don't have to have all the answers to begin. You just have to begin. The courage comes after the choice, not before. And you cannot lead if you're too afraid to stand alone. Sometimes choosing confidence means walking away from circles that feel too small. It means outgrowing friendships, jobs, and beliefs that kept you comfortable but never pushed you to expand. Growth is lonely sometimes, but loneliness is better than staying stuck. Your confidence will cost you certain relationships. Let it. It's not arrogance to say, I want more. It's self-awareness. And if people can't handle your growth, they were only invested in your silence. Don't shrink to make others stay. Let them leave so better can enter. Your next chapter needs a bolder version of you. Confidence is not loud. It doesn't always wear red lipstick or command the stage. Sometimes confidence is quiet. It's saying no without guilt. It's making decisions that protect your peace. It's showing up authentically, even when you're scared. It's choosing what aligns, not what impresses. True confidence doesn't seek attention, it seeks alignment. It's rooted, not performative. And it grows deeper every time you listen to your inner voice instead of outside noise. You don't need to be anyone else to be powerful. You just need to trust yourself more than your fears. That's how self-belief is born. In the little choices made every day. Being confident doesn't mean you won't fail. It means you'll try anyway. It means you'll risk embarrassment, rejection, and judgment because your vision matters more than their opinions. Failure doesn't destroy confidence. It builds it. Every time you fall and rise again, your resilience grows. That's what makes you unstoppable. Not perfection, persistence. Confidence isn't a one-time decision. It's a habit, a mindset, a daily commitment to show up, speak up, and keep going.